don't have unlimited data. They're very non-customer service friendly. And we were listening to Clark Howard yesterday, and he was saying that if you're a Verizon customer, you should really consider switching over to Sprint because they have a much better deal, and Verizon refuses to meet their deal. Back to you. Thank you.
Comment KD7880.
Okay, I think I heard you better that time, Carol. The one thing that pops into my mind is you want to be careful about coverage area. Um, it's possible that Sprint does not have a good, tower network in your neighborhood. So you would definitely want to check some other Sprint customers close to you to see if they are happy with the coverage they get. But I see that Kilo Delta 7 Alpha Alpha Tango keyed up. Perhaps he was wanting to reply to you. Is that the case, John?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And for Carol, I guess the big question is, what are you going to do with your cell phone service? Are you going to be streaming? Are you going to be talking all day, sending 100,000 text messages? Are you going to be using it for a mobile platform for D-Star IRLP or APRS tracking? The reason why I throw all that stuff out there is because with my 3 gigabyte per month plan with Verizon, I have run APRS for 7 days at a time, IRLP, mobile box, and D-Star. And when I get to a motel, I would use my hotspot off of the data plan for my laptop. Never, ever have I run out of data. 3 gigabytes, you have to do a lot of video streaming to eat it up. If you're talking ham radio applications, go with the minimum. You're not going to, you don't need to go to Sprint. As far as I'm concerned, I am very happy for a long, long time with my Verizon service. With that said, bring it back to the net, KD7AAT.
Okay, thank you, John. Let me pass it back to Carol if she has a reaction.
Okay, I'm going to let my husband, Bob, KC8MLB, speak to you about this because he's interested in the hotspot data or something like that. All I want to do, in fact, I don't even need a smartphone. I'm happy with a flip phone. All I want to do is make phone calls and get phone calls. But if you travel, say, to Europe or any place, the flip phones don't have the ability to have a cheap plan on them. Say, like Verizon offers a travel pass for $10. You can talk all day on a smartphone, where if you sign up with Sprint, it's 20 cents a minute, which is still good. Whereas my flip phone with Verizon, it's $1.79 a minute. I don't watch any videos on my phone. I don't do anything other than maybe check eBay and make phone calls. But my husband was interested in the hotspot.
This is Casey and LB, and as my wife WAEWE mentioned, we are looking at hotspots with our Raspberry Pi for D-Star, as well as possibly APRS, and I wasn't sure how much data they use with all the wireless services offering unlimited data. I didn't know if that was necessary or not, but it sounds like it's not. Thank you. Back in control, KC8MLB and WAEWE.
Okay, and let me just mention that I think if you're talking about using your cell phone as your internet access for a D-Star hotspot, unless you are 18 hours a day, I'm not thinking that it really takes a lot of data. D-Star itself gets by with, what is it, 4,800 bits per second? So I can't imagine that the hotspot uses a whole lot more than that. So I think you could talk forever on D-Star hotspot without using up oodles of bandwidth on your cell service. So, and the other thing about, I should say my cell phone is a Sprint MVNO. I don't go directly to Sprint. I go to one of the companies that kind of buys wholesale from Sprint and then resells it, and runs me about $15 a month, and I get plenty of minutes and plenty of megabytes for what I do. I don't use it a whole lot. I think you'll find there are lots of deals like that you can get on Sprint. Not so many on Verizon. So if you have good Sprint coverage in the areas where you want, to operate, definitely, check them out and see if you like the deals they offer. But if you travel a lot and you don't know where you're going to be going and you just want to make sure that you can always communicate wherever you go, then you might want to look at the big guys, the Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, because I think Sprint might have some gaps in their coverage. So let's see. Is there anyone else who would like to address this issue that Carol has brought us? Okay, K2AMF, go ahead.
I just something that both you and John mentioned is you can't say that enough times. And we're talking about coverage. I've had, I think, over the years, all the different types. I usually went with whatever I could get my company's discount with when I was working. But if you do any traveling at all, and my wife's from Nebraska, and we would travel from Spokane to Omaha, and there was, when I had AT&T, it was nothing but frustrating. It really was just horrible. So I guess you said Sprint. Either the idea is just what you guys said. If you can't get reliable comms, you are not going to be happy you're paying less for it. I know there are some specific cities actually where I don't know how they did it, but for AT&T, for example, in Fairbury, Nebraska, was banned. They absolutely were not allowed to put up any cell towers, and you can look at the various maps of coverage from the various companies. That's what I'd recommend, and see what those maps look like. But I'm using a Shark OpenSpot with my Verizon hotspot, and it's just bulletproof. And I think John travels too. I know you do actually. And yeah, Verizon is rock solid. It costs more money. There are some discounts available if you can hunt them down. But anyway, I just wanted to really reinforce what you guys already said. Verizon is the only one I found that I have never been anywhere that I couldn't get data. So we'll leave it at that. K2AMF.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Let's go back to Carol.
Well, thank you very much for all the input. I appreciate it. Actually, I was thinking of Europe, not so much around the United States, but in Europe. And I asked Sprint about that, and they said, well, we just have 1% less coverage than Verizon. So I thought, I'm not sure what to do here because I do want to be able to communicate. That's why I have a phone. So maybe we should just stay put with Verizon and not worry about the discounts because it's getting real crazy. Like you have to join a credit union, and when you join the credit union, you get $500 put back in your account by Sprint. I mean, there's just a lot of, it's weird. So it's a lot to think about, and I do appreciate all the input, and I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you, W8EWE.
Okay, now you really open a can of worms. Europe, the rest of the world, most of the rest of the world operates on the GSM standard, and I'm pretty sure Verizon will, what do they call it? Well, it's not GSM anyway. It's so. In general, I think you might want to stay on Verizon in the United States, and if you're going to go on vacation or on a business trip to Europe, rent a temporary phone while you're over there, and not. Well, I mean, I have friends who have done this. You know, they travel to Europe and they just pick up a cheap rented phone, short term, and a SIM card or whatever. I don't entirely understand how this works over there. They have places that sell the SIM cards and airtime, and it's a whole different animal from what cell service is in the United States. So definitely ask some people who have experienced traveling to Europe and using cell service and find out what they recommend. And in fact, I'm going to step back and see if somebody wants to jump in now and offer some advice about that. Okay, I see KC8YQL. Go ahead.
Okay, I can tell you guys as much as I can tell you, but I gotta be real careful I don't lose my amateur radio license. I am a retailer for cellular products, which is Soap and Wilson. Their new name is now called WeBoost. And I have accounts with all the carriers. And you guys are spot on tonight. Verizon hands down has the best coverage. I have 2 unlimited data plans on beta testing through AT&T right now, using their brand new $20 a month Mobley unlimited data plans. And I have those SIMs card installed in other devices. Where I'm at, it's dead in the water. Will not absolutely get a signal. Will not work. And try and put one of my Wilson cellular products, Sleek devices on that device. And once I put the Sleek on it, it'll drop it from about 120 dBm signal down to a 72. Sometimes it even will jump down into the 60s. So same thing as going for in the car. If you want to use AT&T where I'm at, or Sprint too, same thing. You have to use an amplifier, put an external antenna on your car, and then you'll have about as good as coverage as Verizon. With Verizon, I can throw my phone right on the dashboard and I'm good to go wherever I'm at. Carol, if you don't remember nothing I tell you tonight, please, honey, go to rvmobileinternet.com's website. That's Chris and Sherry. Sherry's originally out of Canada. She teamed up with Chris about 10, 11 years ago. They're dedicated RVers. They're dedicated to supply us and the public with a very, very, very best internet for RVers that's possible. RVers depend on a good connection, especially if you're trying to run a business, right? So don't forget, rvmobileinternet.com. rvmobileinternet.com. Can't say enough about Chris and Sherry. Well, you guys check them out and see what you think. KC8YQL, back to that.
Okay, thank you for that. Let's go back to Carol and see if she wants to reply.
I'm still listening, and I thank you guys very much. I will check that out. I got that written down. It's rvmobileinternet.com, I believe is what he said. And I will check that out. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Back to you, 73 W8 DWE.
Yeah, and it occurred to me that maybe I should explain the way I operate here is when someone raises a question, as Carol has done, and then we get replies or comments from several other people, I always want to go back and forth and make sure that we have a dialogue and that whatever new information somebody provides, that the original person who brought up the question has a chance to either say, thank you, or maybe they have a question, maybe they want additional information, or, so anyway, just want to always go back and forth to make sure that we have a dialogue going on. So that's what I'm not putting Carol on the spot to always have something to say to whoever responds to the question tonight, but to give her a chance in case she does have something to say. So it's you can always say, thank you, I don't have any questions right now, and we'll go back and see if anyone else wants to contribute. So just wanted to explain about that. So, let's see, do we have anyone else who would like to join the conversation at this point? We're talking about data, plans, cell phones, Europe. It's really kind of, open season on anything mobile right now.
N6C's Eddie.
Yeah,
Hey, sorry about that, guys. I do have additional comment. I didn't even realize I was speaking up.
Hey, Zulu Echo, go ahead.
Well, very good evening to everyone out there. This is N6C's Eddie Gary here in Montclair, California. We have an RV. We've tried different services, and without a doubt, the Verizon works the best. We use on Wi-Fi in the motorhome, and we can use that with our hotspot with the Raspberry Pi. And VV Megabort works fine. Have almost found nowhere we couldn't get in. So it works really, really well. As far as Europe goes, a friend of mine travels there frequently on cruises and things, and he said they have some kind of a package with Verizon where they can get overseas phones or something. I don't know all about that, but he does use his phone over there. So there's some kind of a package you can buy depending on how long you're going to be there. That's something you might want to think about, or at least checking into it. But some of these other plans that they're talking about, it's pretty tough to get in someplace. A number of places we can't. If you don't have Verizon, you're not getting a signal. So as much as they say it's got the same coverage, in reality, it just doesn't. So if you're thinking about switching out of Verizon, I keep my window open there. You might want to be coming back to that just because you don't get the coverage. Anyway, this is N6C's Eddie. That's my 2 cents worth. So back to you, sir. N6C's Eddie.
Okay, yeah, we had a little bit of noise or garbling on your signal there. It seemed like every 2 or 3 seconds it would kind of act up, but then it settled down. But one thing I missed was your handle there. I got it that you're in Montclair, California, right? What's your handle?
Yeah, the name here is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee, and it's N6C's Eddie.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Now I'm suddenly seeing the log there. I guess the garbling also affects my log here. So anyway, yeah, thank you for that. And now, let's see, do we have anyone else who wants to contribute to this cell phone question discussion?
See, YQL has additional.
Okay, YQL, go ahead.
A, B.
Yeah, you may have called me back, and I apologize. I had to run and dump some detergent into the washing machine. So if you call me back, that's where I had to escape to for a couple of seconds. I have been doing this stuff for about 15 years, and I can't tell you guys enough. I absolutely can't tell you guys enough to go to rvmobileinternet.com's website. They give away a lot of free information, but if you're really serious about trying to get to the nuts and bolts of this discussion we're talking about tonight, don't even feel guilty to spend $60 and get a paid subscription to Chris and Sherry's mobileinternet.com's website. They'll include you in on live seminars. I join them on live seminars through the internet. And there's just, well, it depends on how serious you guys are about this. If you really want to learn the nuts and bolts of it, go ahead and spend $60 and give them a year's subscription. And again, I have nothing to do with those two. They're just nice folks. The only reason I'm promoting you to give them a subscription is the information they share will blow your mind. They cover everything from A to Z and in between. They cover all the cellular boosters. They cover all the antennas, the connectors you need to hook up to the hotspots. And they're just a fantastic couple. Sure, they're making some money off of that subscription, because I imagine they got a lot of people subscribing to them. They're awesome couple. And I guess if you guys need any more information, you can always send me an email too. I ain't afraid to help anybody out. That's what we're all here about, right? That's what this net's even about. So my call at Gmail if you guys want to know any more info. If you happen to want to know pricing on the amplifiers, I can help you out with that. And like I say, if you do go off of Verizon, you're going to have to spend about $150 and put a 4G SLEEK in your vehicle. That's a 4G Sleek. That gives you 25 or actually 23 dB gain of cellular data. And it also provides a roof mount antenna, and that makes a huge difference. So if you install the Sleek, spend $150 for that, you may be okay going with a different carrier. But hands down, like the other guys were saying, Verizon has got towers all over the place, and normally you can squeeze by without having to amplify their signal. They work pretty good. Let me do a reset real quick. If you run Robin Cutshaw's DV access point, DVAP, for 1 month straight, never turn it off, you'll use about 1.5 gigs. So the other gentleman was right too. If you're only going to run hotspots, you're not going to worry about streaming videos. Really, the unlimited ain't nothing you got to worry about. I like doing it all. So that's why I've got about 6 unlimited plans through all 3 carriers. I do not subscribe to any of the sub-carriers because there's other caveats that they will not let you in on. For example, if you're on a tower that's really under congestion and you're going through a sub-party to get on that network, they may or may not prioritize your signal compared to the top 3. So you got to keep that in mind too. Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, of course T-Mobile's in there too, but normally they talk about AT&T and ain't a whole lot said about T-Mobile, but there are other major carriers. There's all kinds of sub-carriers underneath of all these different, main carriers, and basically they are, well, I don't want to tell you. I know what I want to tell you, but I got to hold myself back. Anyway, enough said. RVMobileInternet.com. Check them guys out. Chris and Sherry, some awesome people. And the information they have is very, very enlightening. Elvis just come out on stage here on the WWE Wrestling. So if you guys want to see Elvis, I guess he is still alive. KC8YQL was doing good till I said that. Back to the net.
Katie7AAT with a comment.
We lost net control. I'm standing by. KC8YQL.
AV9FJ net control. KD7AAT with a comment.
Okay, John, go ahead.
AE9.
First of all, I do realize this is a D-Star, pretty much net. But I think we have personally heard enough about the RVMobileInternet.com commercial website, and I think we need to get away from that and move on. Just my opinion. Thank you. KD7AAT.
Okay, yes. Well, thank you for that. That is a reasonable suggestion, and I think we will actually do that now. Do we have any other queued up, stations that have been trying to check in and comment and just have not been able to get a word in edgewise? So now's your chance. Please speak up. Okay, nothing heard. At this point, let me go back to Carol and see if she has anything that she would like to add or ask at this point. Go ahead, WADWE.
Yeah, actually, I want to hear more about that RVMobileInternet.com. Just kidding. I have nothing else to say. 73. Bye-bye.
Yeah, well, I was ready to say, get on your browser there and check out on the internet. Probably going to find out a lot more that way than here on the net. So, anyway, I think we're ready for a new subject or a new question or an announcement. So, if anyone out there has been holding back, waiting for their chance, well, now's your chance. Please come forward.
Well, VE7LEE has a question.
All right, VE7LEE. Go ahead, Ted.
Thank you there, Wayne. A few weeks ago, I was having a problem formatting an SD card, so I got that formatted. I got the software image loaded on the Raspberry Pi and booted up, and it uses an operating system. This is from the AlabamaNet webpage to allow the DV4 Mini to work on the Raspberry Pi. But when I boot up, it says it's using Pixel. And I was wondering, what is Pixel? Is it another operating system for the Raspberry Pi? Because before there's Weasley, Raspbian, there's some unusual ones there. And can anybody tell me what Pixel is used for? Is it a specialized operating system, or what is Pixel? This is VE7LEE.
N0W.
Comment. KD7AAT.
Okay, sorry, I dropped my mic there, so I was a little slow coming back. There is one thing I want to check with Ted about, though. I'm not 100% sure that I copied what he's talking about. Is it Pixel, like Papa, India, X-Ray, Echo, Lima? Or is it Pixo, Papa, India, X-Ray, Oscar? So would you just clarify, is that part of it there, Ted?
Okay, I believe it's Pixels. I'm trying to visualize it. I think it's ending in X-Ray Alpha Lima, or I can't remember exactly. But there was another station, maybe, because sometimes you have to put unusual names to things. And that I'm not sure exactly their way, but maybe the other station there knows.
0WIQ was a comment about Pixel.
Okay, hang in there, Carrie. We have John, KD7AAT was in there first. Go ahead, John.
Well, thanks very much. The Pixel PIXE Echo Lima is just part of an overlay GUI part of the interface on Raspbian. You don't really have to use it. Don't worry about it. Just load up your image, your Raspbian, whatever you're doing for your DV Mega. I'm using a DV Mega. I think he said he was using something else, but it's just it's part of the GUI that you don't have to worry about it. Just set it up and run the system. And I think Carol, I believe it was, she had, was that Carol? No, I can't remember. All of a sudden. Anyway, Katie 780.
Okay, let's go to Carrie, N0WIQ.
Well, I say pretty much the same thing. We're talking about a Linux operating system, which is what is usually used on a Raspberry Pi. And they've been used several different desktops with it, and Pixel is only one of them with a GUI. Another one is KDE for something else, for another GUI. And with the Raspberry Pi 3B, you even have enough computer to play with some other desktops too. But these are lightweight desktops that work on the Raspberry Pi for a GUI interface. And that is all I've got to say, because it is a Linux operating system, and you can basically use any desktop GUI, because all the GUIs are based on what is called X Windows, and then the desktop is put on top of X Windows. So, I mean, that's all there is, and it's just because I know enough about the situation. I've been using Linux on my desktops for a number of years. When I got into Raspberry Pis and found Pixel, I said, gee, that's different. And it has to be used a little bit differently than the others, but hey, it is a GUI, point and click, and away you go. N0WIQ.
Okay, Carrie and John, thank you both. Let's go back to Chad.
Hey, thank you there. You answered my question. I guess it's a GUI interface upon the operating system there. As I was playing around with it today, I finally found on my downstairs desk my powered USB hub. Took me a week looking for it, and there it was under all my papers. But anyways, yes, so I was playing around with it and seeing the advantages and disadvantages. And that, so I noticed that when I booted it up, that came up there. So I was just curious because I've never seen that before. So thank you both the stations there on the explanation, because that explains what it is. And by me asking these questions, I become more knowledgeable, because some people perceive me, which I am not, Linux expert or Raspberry Pi expert. Back to you there, Wayne, Net Control. This is VE7LEE.
0WIQ with a comment or a follow-up.
I guess Wayne's busy at the moment, so go ahead with your follow-up.
Hey, this is N0WIQ, and the GUI for Linux is X Windows, but the desktop is Pixel, and or other desktops that are put on the X Windows, because they're just the third layer for the GUI and the operating system. So I'll just put it that way. Now, if you do an internet search for Pixel, you'll find some extra explanations for it. Or you can look up LXDE and find that as a stuff that can be used. And all this kind of stuff. I mean, hey, the Linux operating system is so fraught with things, with options that, boggle your mind. But Linux, to me, is the best operating system. And it's Windows, hands down, as far as I'm concerned. So that's my comment. Back to that.
Okay, thank you for those comments there, Carrie. Let's see, where are we here? Do we have anyone else wanting to say something about Ted's question? All right, nothing heard, so we're kind of open for a new question. So if you've been listening and holding back, waiting for the crowd, now's your chance to raise your question. Well, if we have no questions or announcements or anything like that, it's time to open it up and just take check-ins and kind of socialize here. So if you just want to come in and let us know that you've been listening, we appreciate that because if nobody's listening, it kind of reduces the momentum and the motivation for continuing the net. But anyway, so now it's time to come forward and say, Joe, just hi, like the net. Talk to you later. So come now.
November 0 Sierra Oscar Mike.
Whiskey 6 Charlie Juliet X-Ray Bob.
Okay, I see 2 call signs there. November 0 Sierra Oscar and Whiskey 6 Charlie Juliet X-Ray. So let's go with N0 SO. Mike, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone listening tonight. This is Mike in St. Charles, Missouri, about 20 miles due west of the Gateway Arch. If you visited the greater St. Louis area recently, just listening to the net tonight and coming to you tonight on my Kenwood DH-D74 through a Raspberry Pi with a DV Mega dual band transceiver monitor on top of it, running MMDVM host, which I just added over the weekend DMR capability to, and I'm very pleased with the way it's working. So happy to be listening to the net tonight. Interesting stuff to talk about. I've been using Linux since Linus. The guy that created it was in college, so I have quite a bit of experience, and everybody was right on track there with what the Pixel definition was. It's just a desktop for the X Windows system on Linux. So say hello to everybody, and we'll see you all next week on the net. And 0SO back to net control.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you, but I went to high school in Collinsville, about 13 miles, 15 miles east of the Arch. So it's like hometown. Okay, next we have Whiskey 6, Charlie Juliet X-Ray.
Well, good evening, Wayne, and excuse me, everyone on the net tonight. Bob, W6BJX here in Camarillo, California, where it wasn't quite as hot as where I was earlier today. Got up to 116 out in the Mojave Desert, but I made it back here to the cool, calm waters of Camarillo at 82 degrees. course, it's about 75, I think, or 74 now. Anyway, just listening in, enjoyed all that information. I concur with the Verizon. I do have a Verizon hotspot myself. Works just great, fantastically. I do have Verizon also on my cell phone, and I can use that as a hotspot also. But just gets the phone gets a little warm from time to time, especially if you're using GPS navigation and the hotspot and playing music and just about anything else. It starts to get a little hot, but the hotspot, the Verizon MiFi, or what's it called, Jetpack, works fantastic. Just turn it on and let her go. So that's all I can add to that. I still have the Raspberry Pi B, as in Bravo, with the D-Star Commander 2.01 and a regular red DVAP, so I'm still old school. But I am preparing to check in and check out the DMR net that'll be on here in a few minutes on the Papa system on it's not SoCal, Cal something, I don't know. I'm learning DMR. And invite everyone to come over tomorrow night to the Papa System Reflector 12 Alpha, 8 p.m. Pacific, for the Papa System Tuesday Night D-Star TechNet. I will be in charge or in control of somewhat of the net tomorrow night. Anyway, sorry to be long-winded. Just wanted to say hello and good evening to you, Wayne. Great job, as always. Thanks for running the net. W6BJX, back to net control.
Okay, thank you, Bob. I thought I had something else on the tip of my tongue, but it must have slipped off. Maybe I swallowed it, darn. Maybe it'll come back to me. Let's see. Anyone else, if you would just like to check in tonight, please call now.
W
You?
KE08B.
Okay, I had a handful of call signs there. Let me run down the list here. Whiskey 4, Lima, Kilo, Sierra. Kilo Echo 0, Hotel Delta Uniform. Kilo Charlie 9, Uniform Delta Alpha. Kilo Charlie 9, Sierra India Oscar. And Zulu Lima 1, Tango Zulu Papa. So, starting at the top of that list, W4 LKS. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi Wayne, it's Randy W4LKS hanging around at home tonight. Trying to stay cool. It's still warm here in Spokaloo. It's supposed to get near 100 tomorrow, so but fortunately, we're not up to our waist in water. Feel sorry for those folks in Texas. Anyway, just wanted to say howdy. Yeah, Pixel is the graphical user interface you get when you do the latest update to the Raspbian operating system that is the one that's the default on Raspberry Pi. So if you do the latest update or you download the newest image of Debian or Raspbian, Pixel is the GUI you get. It's pretty good. Although I've been kind of liking, there's another one you can use. It's Ubuntu Mate for Raspberry Pi, which I've kind of switched to on my machine that plays music. So I like that one for the Raspberry Pi. Anyway, 7-3 to everybody from Randy W4LKS.
Okay, thank you, Randy. And yes, that rescued that little idea from being swallowed. That was what I was going to reply to Bob about. I think he was talking about it being like 100, 110 or some crazy temperature out there in California. And I just happened to look at the weather here, and it's 62 here in Illinois. So it's a nice cool night. And actually the forecast for the week, nothing more than about 82. That's nice. We've had too many darn 90-degree days here. So, thank you. Next we have, I'm sure I've got this right here. Kilo Echo Zero Hotel Delta Uniform. Is that Tom? Go ahead.
You got the call sign right, but the name wrong. It's Lou, Lima, Oscar, Uniform. Good evening, Wayne. Over.
Oh, sorry about that. I was my eyes were crossed. Tom is KC9UDA. So anyway, go ahead and tell us. Give us your you gave us your handle. Do you have any comments for the net?
Only that I intended on coming up on the net when it started, and the card in my Raspberry crashed, so I had to redo it. I've had it running nonstop for about 3 months with absolutely no errors whatsoever on it, working perfect, and I decided to give it a break last night and shut it down properly. And when I went to bring it up, it lost part of the programming, so I had to reformat the card and do it over again, which is kind of strange. But overall, love the Raspberry, love the way it works. Got one in the truck that I have done everything wrong that I'm not supposed to as far as shutting it down, and that thing keeps working. It's been working for over a year now, so like the images and really enjoyed it. Just interesting tonight that when I was going on the Raspberry Pi net, it decided to crash on me. But anyhow, 73 is all. K0HCU, Blue from Northern Missouri. Listening.
Okay, I was just going to ask for your QTH, and you gave it to us right there at the end. Okay, thank you, Lou. Next we have KC9 Uniform Delta Alpha.
Good evening, this is Tom, KC9UDA up here in Ryland, Wisconsin, where we're trying to stay dry, a little rainy up here, and better have it a little rainy up here, and then down south, this hurricane already is going back up to sea, and I last heard that is coming back onto shore, so yeah, down the people in Texas don't really need that. They need to get rid of that hurricane. Nothing else to report on this end on the Raspberry Pi with the D-Star Commander on the 51A. We'll be getting a 5100 tomorrow in by UPS or today. Now I'll have two, one in the vehicle and one on the base. So with that, turn it back over to you, KC9EA.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Next we have KC9's SIO. Go ahead, Steve.
Good evening, Wayne, and everyone on the Raspberry Pi D-Star net tonight. Well, it's been a good day. KC9 SIO Steve with a 9051A Plus running a 10th watt by D-Star hotspot, of course, consisting of a Raspberry Pi 2, running D-Star Commander 2.1 with a DV Mega. Well, I was listening in. I had one ear on the net and one ear on my TV, so I've been kind of listening in back and forth. Great discussions tonight. It's pretty neat. Anyway, well, let's see, not too much. It was a good day today, so I can't really complain. Well, I'd like to invite everyone on here to come over to One Charlie on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time for their international D-Star net. As the majority of you know, that's the oldest and longest running net on D-Star. Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Central Time on Reflector 1 Charlie. And according to Connie, we do not have a backup reflector just yet. Though they're looking at 40, I think she was looking at 48 Charlie. But anyway, I did speak with her on 6 Alpha earlier today. She's on emergency power right now, but she's doing okay. But otherwise, she's doing okay. just running the generator, but otherwise she's doing okay. Anyway, I just thought I'd let all of you know that. And I'll just turn it back over to you, Wayne. Everybody have a great week, and I'll catch all of you next week if I don't catch any of you anytime soon, though some of you I most likely will, you especially, Wayne. AB9FJ and the Raspberry Pi D-Star Net, JC9SIO 73 all the way around.
Okay, thank you, Steve, and it's good to hear that Connie is, well, enduring down there. So, hope she continues to be okay. Thank you for the report. Next we have Zulu Lima 1, Tango Zulu Papa. Somebody down there in New Zealand. Go ahead.
Good evening, Wayne, and all those listening to the net. Name here is Steve, and yes, I'm in New Zealand, all the way down under, coming to you from a town called Pukekohe, which is in the southern parts of Auckland City. You probably all know that. Probably don't know Pukekohe. Haven't checked into the net for a while. I like to try and keep up with what's going on. It's always good to hear what people are doing with the Raspberry Pi. Last time I was on, I had just started, or just finished setting up a XLX reflector using a Raspberry Pi, and it seems to be going very well. Had a sound card repeater, which is actually connected to that reflector at the moment. And also got a portable Mega board on a Raspberry Pi. Sorry, I'm on the Raspberry Pi net, but I'm not using a Raspberry Pi. I'm coming to you from a BlueStack. That's my latest acquisition. Just thought I'd check in. It's always good to hear what's going on. Thanks again. 73s to everyone, and have a good evening. This is ZL1TZP. Back to the net.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Yeah, well, we're not really super partisan about exactly which computer you're using, so it may not be a Raspberry Pi, but it's something similar, so that's all that counts. Thank you for checking in, and you know we're here every Monday night, so come back anytime. So, I think I've caught up, so do we have any more check-ins?
W7SSK.
I see W7SSK. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Wayne. I really don't have any questions. Just wanted to check in and say hello to everybody, and especially those folks down in the Houston area to be careful. It's a pretty wicked-looking storm. But that will turn it right back to you. W7SSK, back to net.
Okay, thank you, Don. Yes, we hope it's going to be a mess down there for quite a while, so we hope those people down there get through it okay. So, ready for more check-ins, or maybe ready to close the net? So this is your, consider this the final call for check-ins tonight.
KC8YQ.
YQL, did you have something?
Yeah, Wayne, I guess I wasn't here at the beginning of the net, so I was going to make the announcement too, and I know some other people already mentioned it, but thoughts and prayers are definitely with the folks down in Texas. I was on the Hurricane Net on the conference server, though, for like 3 days straight. They was giving some, I want to say awesome reports, but they was actually bad reports, what I was hearing. So we was part of the Hurricane Conference server over there, and our local EMA, one of our local EMA guys was in there with me too, and he was passing traffic back and forth with some of the folks too. So, you know, when things like that happen, the good news is we usually band together, and we're hoping the best for those folks. I know I've been deployed to 2 different tornado locations to my EMA director. And you know, when you're first hands on and you're seeing a house that's completely leveled, not even on the foundation, it's gone. Boy, does that ever give you an eerie feeling, especially when you know there's laws of life. We had a EF3 tornado come through Fulton County here in Ohio about 6 years ago, and we lost, I think, a little over half a dozen folks. And at the location where I was at they had FEMA and the American Red Cross, and I was overseeing trying to keep the cleanup crews, you know, safe, passing traffic. And when you see stuff like that firsthand, you know, it gives you a whole different perspective. So I know a little bit what them guys are going through, but on the wide scale that they're going through, I really probably don't. Because down there, it's just a tremendous large scale. And I'm watching the 11 o'clock news here, and they are showing that it did go back online again, so that's not good. So prayers and thoughts are definitely out with those folks, and 73s to the net, and good job with the net. As always, KCAYQL.
Okay, yeah, thank you for those comments, yeah. So, one more time, check-ins for tonight's net. Okay, let's see. To find out more about this net, check the Facebook page at facebook.com/groups/dstar.pi or the webpage at va7ref.info. Your participation in this net makes amateur radio a more valuable resource in time of need. I'm now returning Reflector 38 Charlie to normal use. Please allow a 30-second pause for DVAPs and repeaters to disconnect. This is AB9FJ. Good night.
N5OPY.